Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Always happy to be here with you where sports meets that thing called life. And as we are here with you, I'm always happy to have our guests on the show. Somebody who has been no stranger to the broadcast is Charles Pride. Charles Pride coming to us from Central New York and winning a state title with the Liverpool Warriors, who we have shows with every single month at Avicoli's with their athletic programs, including basketball. So a big shout out to Ryan Blackwell and the entire team over there. And Charles has continued on here in college to play at Bryant with the Bulldogs. And he comes into the Dome once a season, and we'll get to see him again. They made history at Bryant last year, not only winning their first ever conference tournament title, but heading to the NCAA tournament for the first time ever. So a man of history wherever he is, and a man that I'm always appreciating having here on the show is Charles Pride. Charles, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. And listen, you and I, we've gotten to talk over the years. We've gotten to connect, which I appreciate more than anything else. For you to reflect back, and when I talk to people today, there's still smiles and excitement and appreciation. When I say Charles Pride, I always see that smile. When I talk to Liverpool and I talk about history and whatnot, do you feel that? Do you continue to kind of feel the waves of that state title?
Yes, definitely. Every time I come back from school and I always make sure I head over to Liverpool, check it out. It's always love over there with everyone from everyone in the athletic department, teachers, to even like the security guards. Like it's just always love. That's a great community over there. And I was just so blessed to have went to school there and to have had a successful career there.
What do you think about the facilities and the upgrades and everything that they've done? I mean, when you walk into that new gym, what are your first thoughts?
I mean, I wish I played in it. It's dope facility. I spent some time in the weight room also. Like the weight room is brand new, and I don't know, that's a great facility for the kids, definitely that are there now. And I honestly believe that's the best facility in the area right now for high school. And I feel like the kids should take full advantage of that. And I know that Blackwell has them in the weight room and in the gym and stuff like that. So uh, I think that they'll have some pretty special seasons upcoming.
I've said it. I've been able to travel around, see some D1, D2, and D3 institutions, as well as junior college and whatnot. How would you compare Liverpool to that? I mean, to me, from what I see and from what I have seen, they kind of live in this world where they're a high school, but they look like they have some college facilities. Would you agree with that?
Yes, for sure. Their facilities are better than some college facilities for sure. And that's all brand new, state of the art stuff. And have you been in their weight room?
I think I went up when I did the tour when we could during COVID and we were able to come out. I believe that Ari took me up through all of that and through the gym, and they were still working on a few other pieces, but I got to see the gym and I'm pretty sure I got to walk up through the weight room because I'm remembering it. So it was, I mean, I just remember walking through everything being like, this is high school. Like, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't have that. So yeah, no, it was really special. But go ahead. You were talking about the weight room.
yeah. And like so the weight room, I've had some friends that have went to like junior colleges, D3 and D2 schools, and the facilities at Liverpool are much better than those that I've seen through my friends and stuff like that. So that's just amazing to see that happen at the high school I went to, kind of thing. I'm always gonna say it. I wish I could have played in it. I wish it was there when I was there.
Yeah, I mean, just really nice digs, right? A nice home, a nice place to continue to build. When you look back on that and you look back on your time there, have you or are you interested in coming and talking to the student athletes now about your experience?
Definitely. I definitely I always want to come back and talk to the kids and give them some advice of how to get through and how to be successful kind of thing. Like uh I just want to give back to the community, especially back to Liverpool because they've done so many nice things for myself and my family. So definitely I'd love to come back and talk. I actually was planning on going back to talk at one of the Liverpool camps, but it just didn't work out because I had summer classes and summer workouts up here at college.
Yeah, so speaking here with Charles Pride, who spent time with the Liverpool Warriors here in our community of Central and Upstate New York, won a state title for New York State there, and has since moved forward on to Bryant. When you came into Liverpool, because you didn't start there, what was it about Liverpool that just fit for you and was just right for you and your family? How did you make, hindsight 2020, how did you make that decision?
Um, Honestly, it was to start, it was through references. So I was good friends with Nas Johnson. Nas Johnson played on my travel team, New York Jayhawks. We were in the Adidas circuit, and while we are on the same team, he just would keep telling me like, "You got to come to Liverpool. We have a really good coach, Coach Blackwell." At the time, I want to say this was Coach Blackwell's first year. This was his first year, and I really didn't know too much about Coach Blackwell, so I was just learning everything kind of through Nas, and then Nas just was telling me like if I didn't believe him to ask a few of the other players. So then I got in contact with Kyle Butler and a bunch of the other players that were on the team, and everything he said was true, and I kind of decided to make the move to go over there. I knew it would be super fun playing with Nas, but I couldn't have imagined doing everything that I did there. Like winning a state championship was always the dream
Yeah.
that I knew not many people in Syracuse have done. So for me to be able to do that, that was special.
And is there a moment or two when you reflect on that stick out the most? Do you still remember a shot? Do you remember a hug? Do you remember a look? Do you remember something about that state title that when I talk about it, your mind flashes back? Like, what are those pictures that it flashes back to?
Um, I I can remember when the buzzer went off and we all were jumping in joy, and I just knew we all wanted it so bad. It was just a common goal between all of the guys there to win it. I mean, my junior year, my first year there, we went to the state final four and we came up short. And I remember we would go through our practices and we decided that like we were gonna kick it up a notch. So then after our practices, we would have about like 10 guys who would stay after and get extra work in, and we just knew the goal. We've been there before, but we came up short and we knew exactly what we had to do to get there. And I just remember all the hard work that everyone was putting in this summer leading up, like playing in summer league and the fall, like fall workouts and stuff like that. Everyone was just so locked in, and we were locked in the whole entire year. And I mean, it was just a great feeling to know like everyone was on the same page and everyone had each other's back. That was probably one of the most connected groups I've ever been with.
Yeah, and when we see that and you go back, I mean, it was a few years ago, right? But not that long ago that this happened. First ever NYSPHSAA boys basketball state championship, and that came back in 2018 when Half Hollow Hills East from Long Island defeated them in Class AA championship 71-65. 4 years. Does it feel like 4 years?
No, it doesn't feel like 4 years. I can remember it like it was last week. Like that was such a big moment in my life, and I don't know, it kind of was like a little bit of weight off of my shoulders. Like honestly pretty down about losing in the Final Four. Like I said, uh, we just weren't ready though. We weren't really experienced and that well connected. And like I said, that summer and the fall workouts leading up to the season, like that was probably the most locked in a team could have been. Like with Coach Blackwell, we would work out before practice, then have practice, and then do shooting, footwork, post moves, whatever after practice. And everyone was locked in. It wasn't just like a 1 or 2 day a week thing. Everyone was coming in trying to put in extra work all throughout the week. So
and having that, like you said, having that sour taste in your mouth and then finding a way to win that state title brings me to, as we're here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios with Charles Pride. Sour taste in your mouth, turn around, win a state title. Where did Sour Patch Chuck come from?
so Sour Patch Chuck came from just my love for Sour Patch Kids.
Okay.
I'm a big candy guy, but only certain candies. Some candies can get too much, but Swedish Fish and Sour Patch Kids, really love those. But I used to always have the pound bags of Sour Patch Kids right on the scorer's table at the games and stuff, and just throughout the games, throughout practices, I would always eat Sour Patch Kids. So all my friends started calling me Sour and stuff like that.
So that it just stuck with you. So Sour Patch Chuck really has to do with Sour Patch Kids. So
Yeah.
now, with the world that we live in today, where you can make money off of name, image, and likeness, have you thought about the connection, maybe reaching out to Sour Patch Kids and saying, hey, I've been shamelessly plugging you for years. Why don't you guys throw me a couple dollars or at least some bags of Sour Patch Kids? Have you thought about that?
Yes, I definitely have thought about it and stuff like that. I'm definitely gonna try to reach out to them for a NIL deal and stuff like that. The NIL just passed and not many people know like too much about it and stuff like that. So just kind of trying to feel it out and see where it goes and the new rules that'll come behind it kind of thing.
Yeah, so you said, and it's funny that you said, not all candy is the same, and that you like a lot of different candy, but there's specific ones that you go to. And you and I have connected on a lot of stuff, and we built, a nice friendship here over the years, I believe. And now you're describing to me the candies that I eat. And I'm thinking about when I go and I pick up candy, I get Sour Patch Kids, like Sour Patch Watermelon, I get Swedish Fish. I have Swedish Fish in the house right now, and I got one of those big old bags of it. So another
Yeah,
connection you and I have with that.
yeah, man. Those are some great candies and great energy boost. Like I even use those in class sometimes. Like if we have the morning workout and I have to go to class and I'm in class and it's like the third class and I'm pretty tired, dozing off, the Sour Patch Kids will give me like a quick little energy boost kind of thing.
I got to ask you, with the Sour Patch Kids, do you like the blue raspberry? Do you like the watermelon? Is it just traditional? I got to know which
So
one you go through.
so I like the traditional, but then actually recently they came out with the Sour Patch strawberries and they're amazing. Like
Okay.
they're my new favorite right now
If
for
you had
sure.
if you had to choose of the original Sour Patch Kids, green, yellow, orange, and red, which one is your favorite? Which is your least favorite?
Um, Orange is probably my least favorite,
Okay.
and then I don't know. I like red, blue, and yellow.
Okay. All right. And I will say this about Swedish Fish, and I want you, I hope that that I'm not crazy here. When I used to get Swedish Fish as a kid, they had, right, they had red. And it's funny because somebody said they called the Swedish fish company and asked them what Red's flavor was, and the person on the phone responded red. So they wouldn't like tell you exactly what's the berry, what is it. But so there's red, there's yellow, there's green, and there's orange. The green one used to be lime, and now it's green apple. Am I nuts? It used to
No,
be lime, wasn't it?
yeah, I'm pretty sure they did change it.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're jerks for doing that. So,
Yeah, because
but
I honestly don't really like the lime,
okay.
so I just stick with the red now.
Well, I would tell you flat out that if there was a big old bag of Sour Patch Kids, I know I like the red, you like the red, a lot of people do. But if you put those greens aside, that's what people used to do. They have like 10 green in the box and they're like, Dan, I don't want them, you have them. I like that enough people don't like lime that I always end up getting all the green ones. So
Yeah.
long as they don't switch that to green apple. But so Sour Patch Chuck, I love this, with the NIL opportunity. What are your thoughts about this and how much do you know about it? Because some schools have an education on it, some schools have classes that want to teach about it, some schools are actually advantageous to bring in a group to work with you on it, and some don't do too much. So how much do you know about it, and what is Bryant doing to try to educate NIL?
Um, so I actually know a lot about it, and our compliance has frequent meetings with my team and I about it and stuff like that. But where it kind of gets tricky with the NIL is it's based off of state rules. So uh the rules in New York State are different than the rules in Rhode Island. And as of right now, I'm pretty sure Rhode Island has no rules on NIL.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure our compliance was telling us that they're working on like creating some other rules and stuff like that. So I guess just like waiting out and seeing like the rules that come with it. I know some of my teammates have had a few problems based off of the state rules because they transferred from another program that was under different rules and now they're in Rhode Island. So I mean it's fairly new to everyone and just knowing the rules and knowing the state rules kind of thing is a big deal.
Yeah, there's some things that are within a Rhode Island NIL law, and one of them says in the proposed law, a student athlete may not enter into a contract providing compensation to the student for use of the student's name, image, or likeness if a provision of such a contract is in conflict with a provision of the student's team contract. So that's a little bit interesting here
Yeah.
how they're looking at some of this
So
stuff.
I actually was faced with that last year.
Okay.
I signed a NIL deal with Vibe Nutrition in their like it's a nutrition place that sells smoothies and teas and I have my own tea and shake there. Everything is sugar free and healthy for you. But I had a shirt from there and I was gonna warm up in the shirt
Yeah.
for one of the games and that's where that rule comes into play. Like you can't really promote your contract deal while you're on schedule with your athletic program, which means like I wouldn't have been able to warm up or promote the vibe while uh, warming up for the game.
So essentially, what you can do is, you can promote it on your Instagram, you can promote it when you're walking around campus, you can promote it when you're doing different things, but when you're physically at a game representing the team, you can't. Are you allowed to? I mean, obviously you want people to see that. Can you do it when you're getting off of a plane? If you're with
Yeah,
the team and you're like traveling in somewhere, can you get off the bus or off the plane with the t-shirt on?
yes, I can. It's I'm pretty sure it's just like events, so it would be like games and things like that. Pretty much just games, honestly.
Okay. So there is something to be said of that. Now you said you're working with this group and you have your drinks that are there. Is that something that is ongoing and still happening? Did it change because you couldn't wear the shirt at the game? What's happening with that?
Oh no, it's ongoing. Once I found out I couldn't wear the shirt, everything was still fine. I just couldn't wear the shirt. I still do social media posts, meet and greets, and a bunch of different things like that through the Vibe.
And how's it going with the vibe?
It's going really well. They signed last year. My teammate Peter Kiss and I, and now that Peter Kiss is gone, we're gonna sign. Vibe's gonna sign a few of the other players that are transferring in, and I have a really good relationship with the owner, and she comes to all of our games and brings her kids there. And there's a bunch of students and people who go to the Vibe before the games and grab my teas and shakes. So it's a really nice thing going right now.
What are they called? Do you have a name for them?
Yeah, I have so my tea is Sour Patch Watermelon,
Nice.
and it tastes just like Sour Patch Watermelon, which is crazy because there's no sugar,
Yeah.
but it does it tastes just like Sour Patch Watermelon. And then for the shake, I wanted to change it up a little bit, so it's mango based shake and has protein in it and stuff like that, and it's called the Mango Five because I'm number five.
So you have, and it's kind of cool, like the Mambo number five. So you have these connections with them now. Did they work a deal with you where you're compensated and did you have anybody involved or was it just you that did it? So is it because I know some people are looking in NIL deals for trade, some are looking for money, some are looking for both. As a business person, I understand that world and have understood it for a long time, over a decade here. So what's that like for you? And did you seek the deal yourself or did you have somebody kind of be like a bridge for you?
So I happen to get the deal myself. Um there's like a little plaza that I'm always at, very close to the school that I go to get food and a bunch of other things, and a Vibe was like just starting, and I just wanted to check it out because I'm always in the plaza. They didn't even have a sign up yet. Like it was literally just coming along, and I went in there and just had a conversation with the owner, and she was very nice, and it just took off kind of from there. And then as far as the compensation, so teas, I have my tea and drink, and I get a percentage out of every single one that is bought,
Okay.
pretty
So
much.
that's the deal that they work with you is you get to have your own drink and then each of those that are bought, something goes to the company, something comes back to you.
Yeah, and then I have like events with them as far as like meet and greets and different things like that. Those are more geared towards like the season though. Like uh when we won our championship and we were going to March Madness, I had like a meet and greet and raffled some stuff off kind of thing. And yeah,
So you, and then when you do that, I would imagine just like I would, you get a talent fee for coming out for something like that.
yeah.
And so when you did that, when you walked in and you spoke with the owner and set everything up, did you have to go back to this? I mean, did you kind of talk to the school beforehand and say, what can I ask for and not ask for? Or did you have this meeting and then go back and say, hey, compliance, I just want to double check with you. Like, are these parameters okay? Like, how did you set up the contract? And is there a contract, so to speak?
Yes, so there is a contract. I actually have to sign the contract yearly, so I have to go there soon to re-sign. But so we had a team meeting with compliance, and compliance gave us like pretty much like the gist of the rules, and showed us everything through like a PowerPoint slide presentation type of thing. And I talked to the vibe, and then once I figured everything out and we kind of had like a contract, then I brought it back to compliance, and they looked it over and made sure everything was all good. And then yeah, that was pretty much it. They said everything was good. I signed it and brought it back to her, and then I created my tea, the flavors, and created the shake, and then that was pretty much it.
So speaking here with Charles Pride, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal studios and jumping into this NIL world currently. So how has the experience been, and what does it mean to you as a student athlete that you got to have an NIL deal within the first year of this thing coming out? So, I mean, what's the experience been like for you, and what's it like to make history knowing that the first time ever that a student athlete can make money off of their name, image, and likeness, legally in the NCAA, that you got to actually be a part of making this history and being one of the student athletes around the country that gets to say, hey, I got to do this.
It's definitely a game changer for sure. NIL wasn't around my first few years here at Bryant, so now to have that, now to have NIL around, it's definitely easier for me as a student, and like just getting residual pay and being far away from home and my parents and stuff like that. Like I don't have to, count on them for money and things like that, where I can have kind of like my own source of income and stuff like that. So that's pretty big, honestly.
What do mom and dad think about it? The fact that you're like, because I mean, through history, you always joke around like college kids are like, Mom, I need money for books. Mom, I need, Dad, I need money to go on this trip. I want to go on this and that. Call them back home. I'm eating ramen noodles. I need to get some real food. So, what do mom and dad think about the NIL deal and the fact that you have been advantageous in going out there and seeking business so that you can have some steady income for yourself?
They were very excited as well. And they always come, my whole family, when they come to the game, they make sure they stop in and get the teas before they come to the game. And, they really like it. To them, I really had to break it down and explain it to them also, because like the NIL kind of came out of nowhere, and we really
Yeah.
didn't like know too much about it, or like the rules, or really anything. Like when I first heard NIL, I had to get the whole thing explained to me, and then I kind of had to take what I learned and bring it to them. But they love they love it so far, and I'm sure that there'll be many other NIL things coming up in the future.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was going to get to is, we talked about Sour Patch Kids and whatnot, Swedish Fish, but are you seeking, do you go out there and, I mean, obviously as a student athlete, you don't have a ton of time to yourself, but are you actively trying to find places that could fit you?
Yes, for sure. And yeah, I'm definitely trying to find places that fit me and the type of person that I am. Received a few I've received a few deals from a few different places that I didn't feel really fit me as a person and who I was, kind of thing. So I had to turn them down. But yeah, I'm definitely researching and trying to be successful with the NIL right now, along with a bunch of my teammates also.
I like what you said, Charles, that some came to you and you said, hey, this really doesn't fit who I am, right? Because branding is important. What you attach yourself to is important because it's a representation of you, right? They're an extension of you, you're an extension of them. It's give and take. That's why when I work with companies, I don't call them sponsorships, I call them partnerships. So
Yeah.
I like the fact that you brought that up and said, hey, some things came up and I said, no, because I think some people are looking at name, image, and likeness, thinking that a student athlete just wants money and that you guys are greedy, and that anything that came your way, you would say, yes, let's do it. And I think it's great that you brought up that point, because I feel like people are short sighted thinking, oh, okay, well, now that student athletes can make money, they're just going to take the money. They don't care where it comes from. I like the fact that you said, no, if it doesn't fit my personality, if it doesn't fit who I am, I'm not going to do it. And I'd love for you to expand on that a little bit more, because I think that there is a belief that student athletes will just take the money wherever it comes from.
Yeah. So so I turned down a few different partnerships pretty much because they didn't really fit like who I was as a person and stuff like that. And um like there were a few bars that like a bunch of the students around my school and clubs that they go to like after games and on the weekend, but they're like very big popular places for the students to go to, that they know that it's majority of the students from our school kind of thing, and they've reached out to me. But um yeah, I just wasn't trying to really partner with a bar. Like I'm not really going out and drinking a ton, or like going clubbing all the time and stuff like that. So like I don't know, I just really wasn't trying to have my name partnered with like a club or a bar kind of thing.
And I like that. I like that you, as a young person in society, are already understanding that your brand, like your name, right? My company, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, my name's on the door.
Yeah,
So with you being your own entrepreneur in this world of, name, image, and likeness, I love the fact that you're saying, like, I have to think about what fits Charles Pride. And I think that that's really, really cool. How did you become that way? Is that, from your family and what your parents taught you? Is it from education at Bryant? Is it just in your nature that you've never really, gone after things unless it fits you right? How did you get to that point? Because I love it. And I think there's other student athletes that are going to be watching, you do what you're doing, watching right now, that really are interested in the fact that, some people may look at the screen and say, you said no. So, I would love to
yeah,
know where that came from, and why you are so mature in understanding, like, hey, if I sign with something that doesn't fit me today, not only does it not fit me today, but down the road, somebody could bring this up and say, well, I thought you weren't about this, but you took this 3 years ago.
yeah. So I mean, pretty much I would say just like growing up in like my family and just like pretty much of what they've taught me, and then just being on my own and just applying what they've taught me to like the real world kind of thing. And there's always going to be like deals that are appealing or whatever, but just making sure that it's something that really fits you and stuff like that. Like I know uh a lot of my following is, well, I have a very big following of like the younger kids,
Yeah.
and I'm a big influence on the younger kids out here and stuff like that. And I know they're always DMing me on like Instagram and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just wouldn't want to be a bad example and stuff, and have them thinking like, oh yeah, he's going to the bar or the club and stuff like that. And I just want to be a good role model.
I love that, and yet another reason why I respect and appreciate you. And, I got to tell you, as like an aside thing to this, I know it's something that you might just say to a bunch of people, or maybe not, but I'm very purposeful in my words. And so when I call somebody a friend, or if I say buddy, if I say brother, that's really like, that to me is the big one. But, whenever I talk to you, whenever you reach out, you always say, my guy, what up, my guy? And I feel like you're the type of person, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, but that interactions matter to you, and the way you treat people matters. I feel like I'm important to you. You're important to me. Your brand is important to you. You say, when these kids DM me, that's important to me. I just feel like you're somebody who, is purposeful with your things. And I think little things like that, like what's up Dan, or what's up my guy, there's a difference to that. And I think it shows, building bonds. And I want to tell you, I appreciate it, because it's kind of going off of what you said about the kids. Like, I want people to know I care. And I get that
Yeah,
from you. I get from you that you're the type of person that does care. And I think that the world needs to see more of that.
thank you. I appreciate that.
So I do appreciate it every time. Gotta get Sour Patch, you and me gotta get Sour Patch Kids, because I've been on that for a long time. So
Yeah,
we gotta
yeah,
work
we
that out.
definitely have to.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with that. So Charles, before I let you go, not only are you coming back here for another season at Bryant, but Bryant has decided to change conferences and to leave the Northeast for the America East. You are leaving as the Northeast champions in the tournament and advancing to your first ever, NCAA tournament and playing that play-in game in the round of 68. So looking at that, leaving the Northeast, but leaving it as champions, what does that mean to you? And what are your thoughts about switching conferences for your fourth season in college?
Um, so to start, I'm gonna say I'm very excited about switching conferences, and this is a level up from our conference. We've been playing a few teams in that conference. Like, we played Stony Brook and New Hampshire a few times. Stony Brook's actually leaving.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're actually taking Stony Brook's spot as they go to the CAA. But I'm very excited about this conference. It's better talent, better players, and better programs. But with the type of players that we have transferring in and coming in, I'm pretty sure we have it's either 7 or 8 new transfers that are coming in this year. And, you know, we just finished summer workouts on the 21st. And this is a team that I can say I could see us having the same type of bonding as like my Liverpool state championship team. Like, since the first day everyone got on campus, and with new players, we all didn't know each other. Everyone's coming from different schools, different areas, different hometowns, and everyone seemed to connect very, very well. And we all share the same common goal, which was very similar to that Liverpool state championship team. And I'm very, very excited for this year.
When you say, going off of that, before you won the state title, Liverpool, when you're on that team, you had a bad taste in your mouth. You had that sour taste. Does this team come back this season? And I said, you said you have new people coming in as well. But for those that are returning, do you get that vibe that there's a sour taste in the mouth of this team, that you made it to the tournament for the first time ever, but that you were in a play-in game and didn't get into the actual round of 64?
Yes, definitely. That definitely like plays in our head every single day when we're at practice. Like, we don't want to play in that. We were happy to get to where we got to because of our school history and how they've never been there, but we definitely don't want to be in that playing game next year. And we weren't satisfied with just making the tournament and like playing one game in the tournament. We definitely feel like with this team that we have, we can make a run in the tournament and win a few games in the tournament. And we're just going to work towards that.
I have never thought it was fair that, you have your automatic bids, right? 32 automatic bids, 32 conferences. Some of those automatic bids have to play play-in games. In the case of winning the Northeast, you had to play a play-in game. I'm a proponent that if there's 68 spots and 32 are automatic bids, most of those conferences have a spot in the round of 64. You have your 36 at large. I'm a believer that if you win your conference tournament like anybody else, you should not have to play a play-in game. I believe the play-in games should be for the teams that were like those last 8 teams that got decided at large to get in. What are your thoughts on that? Because I don't think it's fair that a Bryant University gets told, well, hey, the SEC winner and the Mountain West winner and this and that and the other. I mean, they all won their conference tournament like you guys did, but you don't have a spot. I think that if you're playing a play-in game, it makes sense to have your at-large teams within that because they're playing to get in, where your automatic bids should have a spot, even if it puts you as a firm 16 or a 14 or a 15. I believe you shouldn't have to play in if you win your conference tournament. Having gone through that, what are your thoughts?
So I mean, I totally agree with you on that. But I also like being a player, and then I also feel like it was like more our team's fault kind of thing, just because of the fact that like if there were like every game pretty much matters when it comes down to seeding, like the wins and the losses and how much you won by and how much you lost by. And there were a few games that happened this past year that made us be a 16 playing game, which was losing to two of the worst teams in college basketball this past year, which we shouldn't have lost to. We lost to Bethune-Cookman. That was like our second game of the year, and I think we were their only win.
Okay.
Literally, we played them in Daytona Beach, and we were their only win, a team that we should have beat. We also lost to Dartmouth, who was not very good last year. And then our loss, we had a big deficit loss to Houston, and I feel like that's what really put us in position to be a 16 seed playing game. Where if we would have won those games and uh, how well we did in our conference, I'm pretty sure we only lost two games in conference. We wouldn't have been a 16 seed. I'm pretty sure we would have gotten to like a well, not the playing game at least. We would have definitely been like 15 or 16 seed, but without the playing game.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate, you saying, hey, listen, I agree with you, but, we controlled our destiny and we didn't take care of that. It says a lot about you once again to show the fact that you will take that personal responsibility that we need to see more of in this world. So you're moving to the America East. You said it's a better conference for Bryant, and you're coming into a conference that has Vermont, who's been successful here in men's basketball. You have UMBC. You also have New Hampshire, UAlbany, Binghamton, UMass Lowell, NJIT, and Maine, as Hartford is becoming a D3 institution, and Stony Brook, like you said, is leaving for the CAA. So, what are your thoughts when I say the names of those other schools that are here? And it really is the America East. Conferences now have nothing to do with region sometimes. The America East actually does. What are your thoughts about the competition of Maine, NJIT, UMass Lowell, having Binghamton, Albany, New Hampshire, UMBC, and of course, Vermont?
So, like I said, I really haven't played. I mean, I've played. The basketball world is pretty small, so I've played players that are at all of those schools, but I haven't played those particular schools. So I'm not really sure like too much about them. I don't really know like too much about them. I just know how Vermont was very powerful in the league and stuff like that. And I don't know, like we played New Hampshire a few times, played Stony Brook. I know Stony Brook was in the top of their league, and I don't know, man. I guess we're just gonna see when we get there. I know we have a very powerful team, and we have a. I'm pretty sure we have the 10th best transfer class in the country right now. So I'm very excited, and we have a lot of versatile guys that I think can get the job done. We have a lot of bigs that can put the ball on the ground, can pass it. Like this is probably one of the most versatile teams I've ever played on. We have 6'9", 6'8", 6'9" guys that can shoot the three, bring the ball up, pass it as if they're point guards. Um, I would be very excited to see how things go in the America East for sure.
And we know that on Saturday, November 26th, which is 2 days after Thanksgiving this year, which is on November 24th, you will be in the dome, not the Carrier Dome anymore, the JMA Wireless Dome, but you'll be back in the dome, back in Central and Upstate New York, back in front of the fans. Excitement about being back in the dome and thoughts about playing in the dome. What type of vibe do you get when you're in the dome? What's the energy like for you when you come back? And then what are your thoughts about getting to do it again?
Um, so I'm very excited to come back home and play in the dome, you know. We got to play in the dome before, but that was the COVID year and my family and friends weren't able to come. So we played in the dome with no fans, nothing. It was just literally the two teams, the referees, and the people at the scorers table. So I'm very excited, you know, to play at home, play in front of friends and family and everyone who's been supporting me and stuff. I also have a few friends on the Syracuse team, so you know that would just be fun, you know, and to play against like Buddy and Simir. I mean, not Buddy, but because Buddy left, but Simir and Joe, like those are two friends of mine that I've known literally like my whole life
Yeah.
since sixth, seventh grade. Like we've been playing with each other. So, you know, just to play with each other like on that type of stage to play against each other kind of thing, like that's gonna be super dope, you know. Like I come back home and work out with Simon all the time and then, you know, to play on TV against them is, you know, just amazing.
Yeah, and you talk about Cy and Joe. I'm hoping that Cy will finally be able to be the point guard like he was the last two games of last season, and that Joe will be moved to the shooting guard so they can both be in a place where they are more comfortable. But it'll be a good game. It'll be an interesting game. I'm excited to see it. I know you've brought it. So, what final note here? We're going to be talking obviously as we get closer to the season, but how has Charles Pride gotten better in your opinion, as you step into season 4 with Bryant? How have you gotten better? Where have you improved?
So this summer I've been working on my body a lot more. Like I've been working on my legs and uh trying to really get a lot more explosive and stuff like that. Um Last year my shooting percentage from three went down a little bit, so just trying to get a bunch of game reps in off the dribble shots and different things like that. And another thing I'm really working on is like my mid post game, like being able to make kind of like foul line shots, like touch shots around the rim. You know, like the weird little spots that not a lot of people make shots from. Like so there's when the free throw line between the free throw line and the charge circle, that's the lowest percent shot in college basketball. So in most defensive philosophies and stuff like that, they're more geared to like baiting you into taking those type of shots. Where I've been in the gym really trying to master all those type of shots. So I'm just trying to be able to beat defensive philosophies and improve my game and you know just tighten up little things I need to tighten up.
That coming here from Charles Pride inside a Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life here in the Cafe Kubal studios. As always, Charles, I appreciate your time. I love the fact that we got to go to a bunch of different areas and expand upon name, image, and likeness in a very unique way for having a personal story about it. So I definitely thank you for that, for reflecting on the Liverpool Warriors state championship and the upcoming season for Bryant. A lot of great stuff as always, and I appreciate you very much. So thank you for that.
Hey, thanks for having me.